Yo, what up, fam? It's Phantom, and in this video, we're going to be going over why I think Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl could be the greatest Pokemon games ever. Now, I know you are immediately thinking that's a bit early to be suggesting this, seeing as the game isn't even out, but I do think these Pokemon remakes have a lot going for them. And although this game is what they described as a faithful remake of Diamond and Pearl, I do think there'll be enough new and updated features that are going to make people remember why they loved Pokemon so much and for so long. Make sure to stick to the end of this video, as I think my last point may convince you and get you just as hyped for these games as I am. Before we do jump in, I did want to mention that I'll be playing Brilliant Diamond before the release date in America on November 18th, live on YouTube and Twitch, so make sure you are subscribed and you have the notification bell ticked so you can join me and we can find out together whether or not these games are as good as the hype surrounding them. If you want to know more of how I'll be playing early, check out the link in the description. Let's jump into the video. When the first trailers of Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl released, I was a little hesitant until we came to the point where they showed following Pokemon. Following Pokemon may not be a big deal to you. You might not think that big of a deal, but for me, oh my goodness. When I found out that Gamefreak added following Pokemon to the Sword and Shield DLC, I freaked out. It was such a great moment to be able to experience that, and luckily I didn't spoil myself with the DLC, and I got to have that as a complete and utter shock to me when I realized that they added it, and I started talking to the old man where he tells you that you're allowed to bring your Pokemon out. It was so exciting, and I couldn't believe they did it, but it was so limited to just that area. And the last time we had it, we're in the Let's Go games, and that was kind of like a shoot-off, spin-off kind of game. I don't even really consider that part of the main series games. I know technically it is, but it just felt different. So the fact that we're getting a full main series game remake and they have Pokemon following you from the beginning, just like they did back in Heart Gold and Soul Silver, is super exciting. I think people are kind of downplaying this, and it's so cool, and I can't wait. And I'm praying, I imagine it's going to be so, that they're going to have following Pokemon, and if they're shiny, they're going to have the shiny Pokemon following you. Oh my goodness. I'm so excited to get a shiny Pokemon in this game and have it follow me right behind me, and this cool art style that they have. And I know I said cool art style, and some of you are ready to click that dislike button. Just give me a second. We're going to get to the art style. But for this feature that we have following Pokemon behind us, with this art style, I think it just really fits. It just works. In Sword and Shield, it's kind of a little different. It just feels a little off, but in this game, it just feels like it fits perfectly. So I'm super excited to have my favorite Pokemon going behind me throughout my entire adventure and to see them grow alongside me as a trainer. It's just going to be great, and I'm super excited about following Pokemon. Now we gotta move on to maybe the most controversial part of this video, and that is the art style. Now hear me out. There are people that hate this chibi art style, and there are people that love this chibi art style, and of course there are people in the middle that are like, I'll take it, I'll take it or leave it. I personally am on the side that I actually love it, and let me give you the reason why I think it's a really good idea. If you've watched any of my live streams or heard me talk about Pokemon Sword and Shield at all, I'm a smidge critical of Gamefreak and the way their art style works in Sword and Shield and just the move to 3D. I will say when we moved from Pokemon into 3D, we kind of lost a lot of life of Pokemon. The Pokemon art style felt a little bit more generic, a little more washed out. If you've seen it online, you can see different comparisons between like the sprite models and the 3D models and how they looked really washed out. And then just in general, like the art style just feels kind of lifeless. I don't know how to describe it, and especially in Sword and Shield, it just feels like it's just there and it's just existing. Now, I will say the DLCs improved upon this a lot. I think the wild area in the base game was kind of lackluster, where they kind of just took that and ran with that idea and really made it its own thing in the DLCs. So I think the DLCs made the games a little bit more stylistic and definitely had a little bit more direction with it. But I feel like the art style of this game seems to really bring the game back to its roots. It's not sprite based, but it's really close, and it gives you that feeling of this top-down world of playing the old Pokemon games and makes you really feel like you are playing Diamond and Pearl again, but just in updated features. And that's exactly what I want. I think Diamond and Pearl are great games, and Platinum was one of my favorites, and I think that these Diamond and Pearl remakes can really bring this to life and to really bring these features home in this new art style. Now I get it, it is a little different point, and it's kind of new for a lot of people, and maybe it's not new and you're just kind of sick of that with other games that do that art style, but I think it kind of works for Pokemon. Now, it is a little jarring, and people talk about the difference between going into the chibi overworld and then getting into a battle and it going back to the normal. That is a little jarring, and I can understand that argument, but I think it definitely works for the most part, and it doesn't really take you too much out of it. It does feel almost like this like Final Fantasy-esque. You kind of have a different sprite when you're on the overworld, and then when you get into the actual battle, it's a little different, a little bit more alive, and a little bit more traditional art style and not that chibi art style. I think it wouldn't work if the chibi art style was also in the battles. It would just make your character look really strange. So I think it works overall, and I'm excited to see how this art style kind of comes together and makes the game better for it. I hope that they really take home this art style and really kind of play with it and go with this more cutesy style, kind of fun, not taking itself too seriously kind of vibe, because I feel like they kind of had that in between with Sword and Shield, where they kind of wanted to be cute, but kind of also wanted to be serious, and it was just this awkward in between. I think the only one that did that really well was Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, or Sun and Moon. I'm not the biggest fan of Sun and Moon, but I will say that I think that the art style mixed with that goofy kind of take yourself not too seriously with Team Skull really worked, and I hope they kind of go that route with this art style. I think Team Galactic can really work with that idea as well, of just kind of not taking itself too seriously, and I really hope they kind of go and push that with just the art style, with the dialogue, with the Pokemon, and just kind of move with it. Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl really seem to be putting an emphasis on all of the old features that really weren't fleshed out and really used as much in Diamond and Pearl, at least myself. I can speak to myself when I say, when I played those games, I had a few friends that played them, but we never did any of the activities in the game that are really seem to be present and at the forefront of these remakes, which I'm really excited to delve into and explore. Things like the underground, stickers, Union Station, contests, secret bases, all of these things seem to be added to the games in Diamond and Pearl, and it added to it a little bit, but it just felt like it was a little lackluster because there wasn't online functionality back then, and there was, but it was just with a GTS, so they didn't do like the underground online or the Union Station or the secret bases that I think are really going to have a lot of popularity and that make it a lot of fun to be able to interact with others online that we didn't get to have in Diamond and Pearl. So we really get to flesh out the underground, and it seems like they really are putting a big emphasis on the underground, that it's going to make it a lot different and a lot bigger and a lot more expansive and a lot more expansive and a lot more features, different things to do, different fossil Pokemon to find, different Pokemon to find in general. I think they're really trying to knock it out of the park with a lot of these new features that I think just didn't get utilized very well in Diamond and Pearl, but they really want to put them at the front, make you realize, hey, these are some cool features, these are things you should check out. I think that they're also remaking a lot of the things that made them kind of boring with the contests especially. Looks like there's more interactivity, and it's not just waiting for another Pokemon to go. It looks like there's actually like different timed events and different, maybe even some like music things. I don't know, it seems really interesting, and I think that there's a lot of potential with a lot of these extra features around the game that aren't just the game itself. So we have a lot to do even after we beat the game, which is a big deal, and I'm excited to see what they have to offer. I'm really hoping and praying they bring the Poke Radar back, but I hope they change it a little bit. I think it'd be really cool to change it in a way that doesn't have the shiny patch, and there's more of like a higher chance if you go into a shinier patch that doesn't make it guaranteed shiny, because when you see the shiny patch, you're like, yeah, shiny patch! Oh, it's like you're guaranteed to get that shiny, so your reaction is to a piece of grass and not to the shiny Pokemon itself, which is a little bit more lackluster in my opinion, especially as someone who really loves seeing my own reactions of Pokemon and loves seeing other people's reaction of Pokemon when they find that shiny Pokemon finally. So I do hope they change it a little bit, but if they even come back with it, I'll be happy, so I shouldn't complain. If they bring the Poke Radar back, I will be very happy. But we'll see. We don't know anything about that, but we do know about these other features that I think are going to be really, really impactful and going to be really fun for everyone to be playing on. Okay, now we have finally come to what I feel is my strongest argument and the thing that I'm most excited about. And it is the fact that this game is not made by Gamefreak. That's right, it's not actually made by Gamefreak. It's made by a Japanese company called ILCA Inc., which you might be thinking, what does ILCA stand for? Which is exactly what I was thinking, and it stands apparently for I Love Computer Art. But it is developed by this company, ILCA, and it is really interesting because it is going to be the first time ever in the history of a Pokemon game that a main series game is actually going to have a different lead developer. Game Freak is looking over this and is not just giving them the reins of everything, so they are probably keeping a tight leash on them. When they say it's a faithful remake of Diamond and Pearl, I think that was maybe Game Freak cracking the whip on them a bit and being like, hey, you can do something and you can do some new things, but you gotta make it really, really close to the old games. That's not necessarily a bad thing because Diamond and Pearl are really, really solid games in and of themselves, but I think that it's really interesting that Game Freak is finally giving the reins to somebody else to make a main series game. This is a big deal because I think, honestly, no, I'm gonna say it, I'm just gonna throw it out there. I think Game Freak isn't the best developers. They aren't that great at making video games. I think they were really good when it was sprite-based. I think Pokemon peaked at sprite-based content, but when it moved over to this 3D style, I felt like Game Freak kind of went in a direction that I personally just didn't enjoy, and I'm hoping that with this chibi art style, this new developer, I hope that they really come around and bring this game to the forefront of everyone's minds and makes them realize, oh wow, Pokemon's really cool, and bring some of these older gamers that haven't played and that didn't really enjoy Sword and Shield, or maybe didn't enjoy X and Y, or whatever they stopped. I have a couple friends that were like, oh, X and Y was where I stopped. Oh, like Sun and Moon was where I just couldn't do it anymore. I think there's a lot of old Pokemon lovers that want to come back into Pokemon, and I think this could be the way to do it. Now, the art style is probably not going to be terribly appealing to some of these older folks, but I will say that the fact that it is made by a new developer, in my opinion, is a huge deal. I think this could be huge for Pokemon too. I think overall, going into the future, you could see more yearly released Pokemon and do it like kind of like Call of Duty and Activision do it, where they have 3 different developers working on a game, so they have a 3-year development cycle, but they release a new game every year. Now, it does kind of seem a little sketchy to do that, but I think it could easily see it being an every other year thing as well. Or DLCs, you know, you can see DLCs with this Diamond and Pearl, while the main series with this Legends of Arceus gets released. I think it opens up a huge opportunity, and I'm really, really hoping these games are good, and I really hope they sell well, because I think that this could be huge to, for one, allow Game Freak to be a little bit more experimental with things like Legends Arceus, which is looking to be really solid, but it also allows them to kind of take a step back and be like, okay, what do we want? What do we not want? And then realize that, hey, we have this other development team that we can fully rely on, and they make a great game. We can really have them come out with either the DLCs or a whole new game in of itself. I'm really excited about this. It could be a big deal for Pokemon overall for the long term, but even just for this game, it's a big deal because it's the first time it's being done, and it could be really solid. And you know that these developers are thinking, holy cow, we have Pokemon, you know, that the world's largest IP. We can't screw this up. So they are going to really take the reins, and I really do trust in this company, and I think that they're going to make an incredible game, and I'm really excited to see what they do. And the fact that it's not Game Freak, I think, is a really strong factor. So what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. I don't want to just be spewing things at you. I would love to hear what you guys have to say, and I would love to have a back and forth with you guys in the comments to talk about what you guys think of this game, because I'm really excited about it, and I'm really excited to play this game when it releases. Again, make sure you are in the live stream. We're going to be live on November 18th. I'm super excited. I hope to see you all there, but this is it for the video. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys do enjoy this video, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe for more content. I'll see you in the next one.